Hi, Kirk here with Aero Precision. Today we're going to be talking all about our EPC upper and lower receiver sets. So starting with the lower here, you'll notice right off the bat it shares a lot of similarities and aesthetics to the M4E1s that you know and love. Share some of the same features as well. So starting at the bottom here, you have the tensioner screw that you can adjust for the desired fit between your upper and lower receiver. Really helpful if you're using a third-party upper that might not have the same tight fit that you would normally have with an Aero Precision upper receiver in conjunction with this lower. Moving back, we have the takedown pin detent and spring recess in there. It's actually threaded for a 440 set screw. So that makes installation of your receiver extension and end plate and everything super easy. You can put those in, capture them in there, really simplifies the assembly process. Moving towards the front, you'll notice the safety selector markings on here are milled for a short throw or a standard safety. So if you run a 45 degree, that's something you like, you can run that on these just fine and your safety selector should still line up. Moving forward to where your bolt catch sits, the pin that captures the bolt catch in the lower receiver is threaded just like on our M4E1s. So you don't have to fight with weird punches or anything, worry about damaging your finish trying to punch in a roll pin. So it really simplifies that process, makes it super easy. Moving over to some of the proprietary components on the lower receiver, these are all pre-installed from the factory. We have our magazine release here. You'll notice that does look a little longer than you may be used to on your traditional magazine releases. The reason that is because these utilize standard frame Glock magazines. So the notch in the magazine is at the front of the receiver. So what this does is it allows it to engage with that magazine just fine and still leaves the release in a familiar place that's easy to reach. The next thing you'll notice is this little fin up top here. This is your ejector. So what this does is it helps push the spent casings out of the ejection port when the firearm is cycling. So that's something that usually is integrated into the bolt face on your AR-15 and M5 platforms, but because these are utilizing pistol calibers, they have to use this type of design. For magazine compatibility on these, they do utilize standard frame Glock magazines, so your Glock 17, your Glock 19, if you're shooting 9mm, fit just fine in here, as well as any extended magazines for either of those pistols. All your small parts for this lower receiver are all mil-spec, so all your detents and springs, all mil-spec. The only thing we do recommend is when selecting a trigger for these that you use a trigger that's designed specifically for use in a pistol caliber carbine. These are designed to hold up to the abuse that's brought on by blowback pistol caliber AR platforms. All of our lower parts kits do feature hardened trigger pins. This will help remedy that and give you more longevity out of that trigger unit. Just like our M4E1s, the EPC9 lower receiver features a flared magazine well. This helps make reloads a lot easier. Moving on to the upper receiver here, same thing you'll notice with the lower. It does look very similar to our M4E1 upper receivers. A couple things you'll notice right off the bat though is they do not have a forward assist, they do not have a dust cover, and the ejection port is sized differently. This is just because it's a pistol caliber, you don't need that full-size ejection port like you would on a 5.56 or something larger, a rifle caliber. Moving on to the other side of your upper receiver here, you'll notice this little mechanism here. What that is your last round bolt hold open. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna engage with the follower on your magazine when it's empty, and that little arm there is gonna stick out and that's gonna kick your bolt release back, locking your bolt open on an empty magazine. The threads on the front here are the same as a mil-spec upper receiver, so these are compatible with most handguard and barrel nut combinations. So that includes our full Atlas lineup of handguards, or if there's a third-party handguard you really like, chances are it'll probably work on here just fine. One other small detail on these is the front of the upper receiver here where you normally put your gas tube. These obviously are a blowback design, don't use a gas tube or gas block, but we do have a little dimple there. What that does is helps you index any barrel nut you might be installing here for timing of your handguard. To purchase an EPC receiver set or for more information, please visit us at aeroprecisionusa.com.